So, it's another one, yeah, it's a full strong, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Green Diamond Boxing. Just before we get started, a quick shout out to D-Rock, our sponsors. If you haven't already, please do go on their website, have a look at their merchandise, and put in iBoxingHub 24 for 40% off all of their merch on their website. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by Jon Trethewey of TM14 Promotions. Hi, Jon. How are you today?
I'm good, Aiysha. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm very well, thank you. And thank you so much for your time. I'm sorry it was a bit of a last minute thing, but I'm really pleased that you could join us. So I know you've got other things to do this evening, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. But I did want to find out a bit about, obviously, your promotional company, how you got started with promoting in terms of boxing. So where did it all begin from for you?
Yeah, good question. Started promoting about just over 2.5 years ago. I was already in the sport in a similar capacity that you are now. So I started off interviewing for the YouTube companies. I then spent a lot of time at shows and I went to gyms and met fighters, etc. It was always a dream of mine to be a boxing promoter from a young age. I wouldn't say from a child, but like late teens, early 20s, I always thought that's something that I would like to do. But I always thought that I probably wouldn't have much chance of doing that. It was a bit something that I was looking at TV maybe. And then I got the opportunity by building relationships. And then my business partner and I, Aaron, we decided, let's give it a bash. That was, actually, it's not, about 2 years and 8 months ago, we did our first show in Northampton. We sold it out, did great. And then the kind of feel was, look, will you come back and do more? And we had the bug then, and we've done 40 plus shows in the last 2.5 years. So going from strength to strength. Wow. So that's kind of our history as to how we formed.
That's amazing. How do you begin? So if there's people watching who want to go into promoting, what are the first steps that they would need to do in order to get from wherever they are, in terms of, they might be in media, they might be in something totally outside of boxing? What are the first few steps they would need to do in order to get into something like this?
Very good question, Aiysha, and very different than what I'm being asked. I'm impressed. Well done. It's not easy. You know, when I said there's a dream as a late teenager, early 20s, I wanted to do it. When I was a kid, I wanted to play for Chelsea, but I weren't good enough, you know. So having a want to do something doesn't mean you can do it. I guess having connections in a field or an environment and people, you know, that's what enabled me to do it. So chance and fate I managed to meet someone in the sport who was working in the YouTube side of the business. He got me involved. I started doing interviews. That gave me the platform, if you like, to build those relationships. I guess you've got to have a little bit of balls about you to try and then do it, because it isn't easy. I don't think anybody who would do it would think it's easy. It's not quite as straightforward as looking at someone on the TV in a suit watching the fights. You know, there's a lot that goes on. It's very stressful. It's hard work. It's not rewarding financially, really, at our level. Some shows are good in terms of finance, some shows not so much. Some shows in terms of the quality of it are great, and some shows are not. But we like to keep busy, we keep active. We do one a month every month for the year, so we try to do 10 to 12. We have a couple of months off with January because of Christmas, August because of school holidays, and we sometimes chuck some more ones in other than just York Hall. But we've obviously got one this weekend as well at the O2, so that's another step up for us. Yeah, you've just shared that there. So that's kind of where we're at now. But we'll keep working. We work hard to try and achieve our dream. Just like fighters want to be the best fighter out there and a world champion, we'd love to see a full-time career where we could earn some good money and put on the best fights in the country, in the world, wherever it would be your dream is.
No, absolutely. In terms of building your stable, then getting fighters onto your promotional company, how do you go about finding the fighters? What kind of things are you looking for when you're looking for the right fighter to be part of your promotional company?
Good question again. It's about building the relationships, like we said. So we're very well connected with the right gyms in the south of the country. You know, we've got the Peacock Gym, we've got fighters that have come out of the Matchroom Gym, we have fighters out of Origin Gym, Rod Julian's gym. I could name lots of gyms that we're connected with. They've all got great fighters. Some are better than others. Some maybe have are a better prospect than others. Some maybe sell more tickets than others. But I guess, like anything in life, Sorry, the phone rang. I guess like anything in life there, Aiysha, if you want to be treated, you want to be treated the way, sorry, you treat others the way you want to be treated. So we look after everybody, whether that's a fighter, whether that's a manager, whether it's a trainer, whether it's a ring girl, whether it's door staff, everybody that we sort of like have to work with, our job is to make them feel good, look after them so that those relationships keep forming so you can continue to build shows and get bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you did mention previously about this Saturday. You've got a massive show happening at the O2. You're doing like a 5v5 with Neilson Boxing, I understand. How did that come about? And was that in just conversations with Neilson Boxing after the 5v5? Where was this discussion starting from?
Yeah, Mark Neilson reached out. I'll give him credit there. Yeah, even though we're at a lower level and small hall shows, all the promoters have kind of got their own stable and their own fighters. They've all got egos, me included, where you sometimes don't want to share, you don't want to work together, you all operate in your own way. So doing shows with other people isn't quite as straightforward as you'd think. It's not just rock up with a few fighters each and put them in. This show has been massive to put on, and even earlier there was a disagreement between myself and their team. They're, should we do this, shouldn't we do that? And they're regular things, but it's good because they're so professional to deal with. The Neilsons, I said this on another interview yesterday, they listen, they learn, we listen, we learn. Sometimes you just have to go with the other person's opinion, and sometimes you go with your way, and then we see how it works. And if it doesn't work how we liked, then maybe we'll try the other way. But yeah, Mark asked me the question. It didn't take me a minute to just say, yeah, let's have a go at it. And the card is looking very good. So hopefully Saturday we'll reap the rewards of that. The fans will get what they want, which is some real good 50-50s at a real good venue. You know, we're getting a lot more traction. There's a lot more companies that are asking for these interviews, which tells me myself that obviously you're making a bit more of a name. It's live on TalkSport. It's live on Fight Zone. Shout out to Dennis Hobson, who's helped that happen. You know, he's doing the streaming bit. Spencer Oliver's helped us there with the TalkSport bit as well. So really, really good. Ladbrokes are our #1 sponsor. I'll give them a shout out. That's helped us grow as well. So they're a very big sponsor for us. And hopefully everyone will see the benefits come Saturday.
Talk to me a bit about your fighters that are going to be on the show on Saturday. Which ones do you have? Which ones have got like something special that you've seen in them that you just can't wait to see their fight?
Well, they're all good fights. The whole card is stacked with good fighters, Aiysha. You know, the fact that York Hall is the mecca of boxing in this country, everyone wants to fight there. But when you do it every month, it kind of takes that gloss off it a little bit. And a lot of our fighters are very loyal. They fight on our shows regularly. So it's still great when they fight. But what better venue for them to step up and go at the Indigo at the O2? So because we did that, it cost a lot more money. So we needed to secure the better fighters that sell a lot more tickets and make fighters fight each other. Because that is cost effective on the bottom line. I think if you're pushing me for the fight of the night, the headline is Joel Bartel against Jordan Reynolds. They're both undefeated. Everybody's talking about that in the circuits. Your colleagues, your competitors, you know, they're talking about that at the big events. I know for a fact that fight's being talked about at Matchroom shows and Frank Warren shows. So that tells me it's a good show. Who wins it? Flip a coin. Joel Bartel's our guy. He's my team captain on the night, so I've got his back like he'd have mine. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with Joel just from his youth and his hunger. Jordan might be a little bit older. I say a bit more experienced in the pro game. He's had a fight or two more. But it really is a flip of the coin. Expect a war there, and that could decide that final fight, how the scoring goes on the night between the Neilsons and ourselves, who wins the belt between TM14 and Neilsons. But again, you've got other title fights on. They've got Weber Kane on there against Arnold, Frank Arnold in a Southern area fight. You've got an English title and a Commonwealth silver between Lewis Roberts and Ben Lilly. We've got another eliminator, a Commonwealth eliminator between Jordan and Joel. Aaron Prosper and Marley Mason, that's a final eliminator. That should be an absolute banger. You've got Baz Ostergal coming over from Holland. I think I'm sure it's Holland or Belgium. I think it's Holland, but a lot of people are like, he's 6-2. He'll come and give a real good go against Ollie Edwards. And then I've got a who's who of talent on there as well underneath. So you've got your Sonny Hardys, your Louis Muldoneys, your John Robertsons, your Inda Bassies, Hamza Butts on there. Dan Morley, great to have Dan Morley out. First time we ever had Dan. So I'm missing someone. Apologies, I haven't got my book right in front of me. But every fight on there should be a good fight.
No, absolutely. I just want to read out Ra's comment there saying no.
Sonny Hardy, how can I miss Sonny Hardy? I know it was on my mind. Sonny Hardy's with Kevin Mitchell. He's our guy, been with us, and he's one of the best talents on there. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. Raz, there's no chance that Brad Pauls would vacate the English title so they can take it.
Good question, Ra. I tried. Money usually talks, and it didn't in this occasion. There is an amount of money. Clearly, I haven't got the riches that maybe the Sheikhs have, or Turkey Al Sheikh, for example. But he's still got the belt. I don't think he'll fight for it. He's obviously fighting Nathan Heaney. That's a close fight first time round. It could be close this time, but I don't see him going backwards. They just didn't want to let go of the belt. But we believe the winner of that fight, Jordan and Joel, probably goes on the cusp of the top 10. And when you look at the top 10, I think Nathan Heaney on BoxRec's about 9 and Brad Pauls is about 8 or 10 or something like that. So when you think about who's in the top 10, the winner of this will start rubbing shoulders with those kind of fighters anyway. And even the loser, to be fair, because it's such a great fight, I think the loser is not in a bad place. And hopefully it's that close that they replay it back. And if we get to replay it back, then great. And if we lose them to bigger shows, we understand the pecking order. And I'm sure there'll be big eyes watching this fight. And we wish them both well.
No, absolutely. So are the rules and regulations the same as the 5v5? So your captains will get 2 points, 1 for the winners, and is that the same?
It's a slight tweak. We didn't really want to copy it, but let's be honest, it worked. The whole point we did it in the first place because they did it, so we kind of copied it anyway. You've got a point for a win on all 12 fights because they're all competitive. You've got 2 points for a knockout, and then you've got double points on the 2 title fights that are full titles. There's 3 belts up for grabs, but 2 on 1, which is Lewis against Ben, and the other one is Michael against Frank. The eliminators won't carry double points, but obviously if it's a knockout, it will. So, you know, they're all competitive fights. I've tried to look through it, Aiysha, and think, what do I think will happen? Not what I want will happen. And I've got it pretty much level. So I think come the night, but, you know, surprises might happen and someone might knock someone out when we don't expect it. But it will be fun. There's a belt up for grabs. Dennis Hobson's sort of like getting us a fight zone belt. It's the inaugural belt, I think is the word being used for the first time. So I keep trying to wind the Neilsons up that I'll be happy with that on my shoulder at the end of the night and take it to bed. But all joking aside, I want to win, they want to win. It is competitive, but the fans are definitely winning on this one, as I'm sure you'd agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you still got tickets available? How can people get tickets if they still want to come?
There are tickets available. We've sold out of all the VIPs and all the seated ones because demand was really, really good, which is fantastic. And we know that's the case, but there are standard tickets available. You'll be able to get them on the door. If you want to DM us or go direct to the fighters, some fighters haven't got any, but if you come to us or on the door, we'll be able to sell you some.
Amazing. Raz also asking, winner of Edwards v Osterwegel to get Discalu. Some names that I can't pronounce very well, but I'm pretty sure you know who they are.
You did very well. Edwards was the easy one. The other 2 were quite hard to say. I think Discalu's Romanian and Ostergul is what I'm going to say. I think, as I said, he's Dutch. Yeah, it's a great shout. I think you said it was Ra that asked the question. A good question and a great shout there, mate. You obviously know your stuff, which I know you do. There's a number of names you could throw in the hat. I think Discalu's a real talent. He's already a Southern Area champion. We may well get him out on a later show. I know he's got trying to get on another Channel 5 or a Wasserman show, but there's so many super middleweights out there, and that's the beauty of this show. What we're trying to do is when the winners come through, or even the losers, we could potentially then go on and put them in with other ones we're connected with, and maybe do another big O2 show later in the year. We need to see that it works correctly, so let's see what the bottom line figure is and what it actually like. Early indications would suggest it's good. And there's a lot of noise around it, a lot of sponsors. We've got a lot of people wanting tickets, a lot of people wanting to be involved with it. So we think we're doing okay so far.
Amazing. Just quickly about the promotional side of boxing. Is anything come up that surprised you, or something that you didn't know about when you were doing boxing media that you've now learned being a promoter?
You're full of good questions, Aiysha. Yeah, loads. Every day's a school day, as they say. I'm sure there's promoters like Frank Warren, who's been in it 40 odd years. He's the old school, the most experienced and arguably the best in the world. I'm sure he still learns all the time. Matching can be tough sometimes. You know, you deal with fighters and trainers and managers, and I think they just expect to go on Box Rec, go like that, pick that name and go and make it done. If life was that easy, Jesus Christ, I'd be a rich man. So the matching can be a tough side. I've got fantastic. Sorry, they're all boxing calls. I'm sure there are people looking for tickets tonight. I've got a fantastic matchmaker, Eddie Muscat. He matches all the fights for us, and that's not an easy job for him. Logistically, it's quite tough. You know, as I said, I think that there's always, you know, someone pulls out, there's an injury, tickets are going well, and then a big fight falls flat on you. We had a problem last week with a leak at York Hall at the venue, where that sort of like made it hard to do the show. There's always something that crops up, Aiysha, to be fair.
And just lastly, in terms of your TM14, where do you see yourselves in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years is a long time in this sport. 5 minutes is quite long sometimes. So things change quite quickly. You know, we are ambitious. We do want to do well. We have a lot of competitors. I know all the other promoters. Johnny Clark's the same. Goodwin's the same. The Neilsons we're working with at the moment, they're the same. They're just the ones down south. You can go up north. Steve Woods of this well, your Errol Johnsons. I think everybody wants to be the best. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in the sport. It's no different from a boxer trying to reach their plateau. Sometimes you might go no further than where you're at. We've always grown and we've always stepped up levels, and we're doing it again now. So I guess if you had a crystal ball, I'd be a millionaire like the big promoters, and I'd be putting on the best shows in the world.
Yeah.
Whether that happens or not is another thing. It's a dream, but we'll work hard, and as far as we get.
Absolutely, you got to aim high for sure.
Yeah.
If people want to follow you, follow your journey, what's your social media handles?
At TM14 Promotions on Instagram. I need to get better on Twitter. We're not that good on Twitter. We don't really use Facebook, but Instagram we're good on, and you can get everything on there, from tickets to interviews to all the photos and the promoting of the fighters on the shows.
Amazing. Jon, thank you so much for your time. I know you've got a very busy evening, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I really, really appreciate you coming on and giving us a bit of a snippet of what's happening in your life. People, if you want to get part of this show, please do get onto Instagram, TM14 Promotions, get your tickets. I'll be there, so hopefully anyone who's coming, I will see you there. Jon, thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely evening. And thank you everyone for joining and putting things in the comments and questions as well. And we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Aiysha. See you Saturday.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye.
It's another bang. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my scars with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag by the